Feel like I need a little table plant. I've pinpointed a lot of my plant keeping regrets recently, and I thought, why not share them with you? Here's the list of my plant keeping regrets. Something that I have not and will not regret is learning on Skillshare. I've learned a lot with them, and a huge thank you to them for sponsoring this video. Skillshare is the largest online learning community. They have such a variety of topics like gardening, outdoor gardening, photography, organization, Google Calendar tips. All sorts of things can be learned on Skillshare. Within their thousands of topics, they offer classes ranging from beginner to expert and everywhere in between. Skillshare also offers learning paths, which instead of like one class to teach on a topic, it kind of takes you step by step. For example, the learning path Organization and Planning for Creative Freelancers is a set of 5 different classes, and each of the classes cover a different topic, from bullet journaling and organizing to how to build a brief and actually put ideas into action. If you have a new or existing hobby or something you'd like to dabble in, dip your toes into Skillshare. They are offering the first 500 of you to use my link, which is down in the description, a free month trial so you can see what it's all about. A full month to learn on Skillshare. Huge thank you to Skillshare. I always love when they sponsor my videos because it is a platform I am fully behind. I think they're wonderful. They keep the cogs a-turning up here. Let's switch those gears to plant keeping regrets. Number 1, buying so many plants at one time. This, at the time, very fun, exciting thing turned out to be an issue down the road, which we will get into in a little bit, especially when I was kind of a newbie, not only just having to like take care of the plants, but I didn't know how to take care of any of these plants. Had I just introduced things a little bit more slowly, I don't think I would have had as many plants die under my care, which is definitely a huge regret of mine. The point when things really started to die was when I had a huge drastic life event take place. Pre-child Harley had no idea what went into taking care of a baby. A lot of those plants that I was still kind of trying to figure out died. It made caring for my plants feel more stressful rather than stress reducing, which initially it was. It was the beginning of a slippery slope. If I could go back, I would definitely not introduce plants at the same rate and frequency as I was. From those early days until just recently, honestly, a huge mistake is not quarantining those new plants, which, like I said, I was bringing in like hordes of plants all at one time, and where there's only so many different corners of my house, like how was I supposed to quarantine everything? Even though I knew how important it is to quarantine, it's not something that I've ever really practiced myself. I was bringing all sorts of pests and plant illnesses into my house without even knowing or batting an eye, honestly, especially with so many plants stacked on each of my shelves and windowsills and surfaces. Like the one time I brought mealybugs or spider mites into my house, those pest issues quickly spiraled out of my control. I will be so honest, it was a nightmare. I was not having a good time dealing with these mealies, so huge regret. All of the plants I've been talking about introducing into my house, another regret, when I would buy plants without a specific spot in mind, or at least an idea of where I wanted to keep the plant in my house. I just would really buy a plant based on if I liked the look of the plants. I wasn't even really considering like the care or the light. I've only just recently like come to realize just how much light some of my plants need. For example, here I have my ficus. I bought it not knowing exactly where I was going to put it. As much as I love it, it is just kind of a plant that I'm always like, where am I going to put this thing where it's really going to thrive? Even just off to the side here, I have 3 large plants that I have not been able to find a really good spot for. These are the ones that I move outside in the summer, so in the summer it's a bit easier, but as much as I do enjoy these plants, they definitely aren't favorites in my plant collection. So I just find myself putting the plants I love more in the more ideal locations. So the rest of them, like this, just kind of get put on the back burner, and they don't die, but like they don't look super amazing either, you know? It's just It's just hard to get good spots for everything. So by having a spot in mind where I want to keep a plant, it's a lot easier for me to go into the plant shop, look for a plant that would fit lighting wise, temperature wise, all of those things. And then I don't even have to worry about like moving the plant around or wondering if it's getting what it needs. It really is just kind of a constant thing in my mind, like where am I going to put this plant? Because I don't have a good spot for it. I just don't. I shouldn't have bought it, but now I have it and I love it. So I need to like figure it out, but it's just a puzzle that my brain is really struggling with. Haven't been able to figure it out. I don't know. I do definitely regret buying and introducing a lot of the more specialized care needing plants into my collection. Those plants that need the specialized care are the ones I'm more prone to neglect. Like my carnivorous plant example, they need special water. So I do have to either collect rainwater, melt some snow, or get water from the spring in my neighboring city to water them with. So that is the first thing to go in my plant keeping routine if I just don't have enough time in life. Those specialized care needing plants are always the first to not even die, but struggle. Something that I wish I had started doing way sooner, and I think would have resulted in a lot less of my plants dying at certain points, using grow lights. I hugely regret not implementing grow lights into my plant collection sooner. Had I done it a lot sooner, maybe even from the beginning, like I would have had such a happier overall plant collection. And I'll even go as far as to say that I feel like majority of the issues I had with my plants was a result of not enough light. Not all cases, but a lot of cases. I think a lot less of my plants would have died. I would have wasted a lot less money. And then obviously I'm just consumed with guilt that the plant died, you know? It makes me feel so bad. But since adding the grow lights, truthfully, I'm trying to think of what the last plant I killed was. What was it? Did you hear my stomach? It sounded like a freaking werewolf. Gosh, I can't even think of the last plant I killed, and I am fully attributing that to the grow lights I've added. So yeah, those are my regrets. Probably have some more if I really thought about it, but those are the main ones. Those are the big ones for sure. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend this time with me talking about my plant care regrets, and hopefully also sharing your plant care regrets. I mean, hopefully you don't have any regrets, but if you do, I would love to hear. I want to hear all the tea. I want to hear all the drama. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. I was drinking this water without realizing this plant is like super thirsty. It was probably just staring at me like this every time I was drinking the water in front of it. It's so rude of me. Okay, you can go back to your spot.